Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more CasterMuse Narak StarLeague Season 5. Right now we're in the loser's match of Group D in the round of 16. We have our two Terran players here, Mind and RideSky, and this should be a good one. It's definitely the far end opposite of Zerg vs. Zerg. Okay, Zerg vs. Zerg has very few workers, a ton of aggression. And is the quickest matchup in the game. This is like, well, there's actually a good amount of aggression in TVT, but this is probably the matchup where you end up making the most workers overall. It's not uncommon to see pros go up to 80 SCVs here. And yeah, I mean, it generally makes extremely long games. Not always. A lot of pros play very sharp, decisive builds. They actually generally don't like to play TVT too much. You know, it's gained a reputation of a bit of a snort fest, but honestly, TVT, like, if you have two really badass players going at it, generally they'll find weaknesses in each other and make some moves that really force the game to become decided more quickly. And these players definitely are of that kind of level. RideSky, of course, I've talked about him a lot. He is a player that's been top 10 on the ladder multiple times. And of course, Mind, being a former MSL champion, a very smart Terran player. But maybe not as strong with the macro as RideSky. We could, I feel like what we're going to see here is Mind playing smarter and RideSky maybe having a little bit more as far as units go. But we have to look at the opening builds to really figure that out first. Okay, that's first things first, right? Like, we don't know what openers they'll do because that can change all on its head. And at this level, of course, whatever I'm saying, that a player is going to play other than Zealot, they all can do everything, even Zealot. But yeah, you have to be able to mix in other ways to play as well. Now, we're going to go ahead and have pretty standard scouts coming out from both sides. And it looks like it'll probably just be factory expands. That's the safest opener that there is. It kind of can play against anything. It's a little bit rough against specifically Command Center first. And there's like a rock, paper, scissors of all-ins that can work well against factory expand, where it's like the factory expand is trying very hard to counter, and then it's like the wrong build is what's being countered. But we'll talk about that only if we actually get to that point. Both of them going to scout each other second here, most likely. Yeah, no end scouting really in Terran versus Terran. Single Marine, send the barracks out. And it looks like single Marine and send the barracks out for RideSky as well. So yeah, completely mirrored. You can also see their APM, by the way. You can tell that Mind is the older, more brainy player with his just 300 APM. Then you have 500 for RideSky. The new crew of Terrans rising up that are all about, having really precise build orders, macroing really cleanly, things like that. Now, Mind throws down his command center. RideSky actually just slightly late on sending his SCV down. Oh, he ends up going Vulture first, so it doesn't actually end up mattering very much. The SCV comes in, sees that, and will be able to escape. A nice choice there. I do like that. All right. I mean, this is exactly mirrored, and now we just have to see what the follow-up is. They both go for the third depot, which is always the case. Now, do you add back onto gas, or are you just going to add factories? It's cross-spawn. In my experience, most high-level Terrans in cross-spawn do like to go for factory starport. The travel distance for Vultures is just a little bit more. Second factory coming up for RideSky and for Mind as well, so that's not going to be the case here. It looks, in fact, like... Okay, so there's the add-on for RideSky. This might be for fast speed. We'll see about that as well. Here's the thing. I have to speak in real generalities because TVT has a huge amount of builders. Out of all the Terran matchups, TVT has the most things that you can do at the beginning that can work. It's kind of crazy, and it's always been like that, too. There's just a huge amount of strategies. Like, you can go factory starport after your expansion. You can go 2-fact, you can go 3-fact, you can go 4-fact. If your opponent's going 4-fact, you can go 5-fact. It's kind of wild. So this is going to be a 3-factory Vulture out of Mind and a 3-factory Vulture as well out of RideSky. Now, RideSky has speed first. Let's look at the timing of the factories. So exactly the same timing. No speed yet for Mind. He actually has plenty of gas for it. Does get it there. So he's going to be a little bit slower on speed, but that doesn't actually... The likelihood of that affecting the game is not too much. It's if there's a huge difference, it can. But generally not. A lot of times, actually, if you get slower speed, you can optimize your build in a different way where you're mining less gas and your factory slightly faster, so maybe you have one more Vulture, that type of thing. But we don't really see that here. So each side just producing 3 Vultures at a time. We have a supply block for RideSky momentarily. Yep. There it is. There it is. He has 2 depots building. A little bit frustrating, so he's losing, like, about half a Vulture on both of those. And up at Mind's side, Mind is up 2 SCVs, by the way. 8 Vulture, 8 Vulture. So it looks like they're pretty even right there. No one having an advantage as of yet. We'll see if they start mines right away or not. You do want to get those mines. Like, it is incredibly important to lay mines all around the map. Now, let's see when they transition. 4th factory coming up here. And, wait, where is it? There it is. There it is. Okay, so RideSky adds a 4th factory where the barracks cannot see it. That's incredibly important. If your opponent sees 4 factory, then they'll go into something like Siege Tank or 5 factory, right? Like, if you stay just 3 factory Vulture and your opponent goes into 4, then that's bad. Oh, God, this is not a good move from Mind, I think. He runs down into the Vultures closer to his opponent's base. And actually, he has a 1 Vulture advantage, so I guess it ends up working out. It looked to me like RideSky was going to take that, though. And more Vultures coming down, but not from RideSky. RideSky very slow on that. Oh, my God. Well, that's brutal. This is the worst-case scenario for RideSky, because he is doubling down on his Vulture production, and then he lost all of his Vultures. He is going to have 4 pop out. I think he's going to live through this. The depot helps immensely here. Laying a few mines in the front, so Mind is utilizing that advantage, but not over-diving with his Vultures. He knows that his opponent has to have at least 3 coming out. And now Mind adding that 4th factory as well. RideSky, oh, a 5th factory as well. I missed that, sorry. So we're actually, this is what I was talking about. When your opponent goes 4 factory, you can go 5 factory. And now they're both going 5 factory Vultures. So this is getting a little bit insane. RideSky is up a couple workers, which is helpful. But Mind, like, he already has a little Vulture lead, right? That's kind of big. Probably the next thing that RideSky can do to kind of equalize the game is you have to figure out with your barracks when they make the first siege tank. Because a siege tank basically takes 2 Vulture times, like, to make. So as soon as they make a siege tank, you have 2 more Vultures in them, kind of, right? So, like, sometimes that opens up a window where you have an advantage. Now, here comes an attack from Mind. I'm surprised Mind is attacking here. This is a great concave from RideSky. Like, all of his Vultures are basically attacking the whole time. But Mind starts to take it a little bit. We're so close to the rally, though, of RideSky. He should still hold on. And by the way, that's a 6th factory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're going to levels I've literally never seen. So it's 44 workers, which is very good saturation for 2 bases if you're not going to go into, like, a huge macro game. And he's going into 6 factory, which is absolutely absurd. And now you see siege tank and 2nd add-on. So Mind is going to flip the switch. He's going to say, you know what? I have enough Vultures. I can get into siege tanks. Whereas RideSky, like, I mean, 6 factories. You're making a lot of Vultures. But once Mind has, like, about 3 tanks with siege mode, you're not going to be able to break him. It's not going to occur. And the thing is, the Vultures, they're useful all game to a certain degree. They're definitely a staple in this matchup, but they don't scale like siege tanks, right? So as, like, the siege tank count grows, the additional amount of Vultures becomes less and less and less valuable. So right now, 2 tanks are out, 2 more are making. Siege mode is on the way. RideSky right now pumping out his Vultures many at a time, but actually he's slowing it down a little bit. He adds his own siege tank. He's getting a 2nd add-on. Look at that Academy. He knows that he needs to clear all these mines. A lot of defensive mines. He did get a few up here as well. So that area control is incredibly important. Watching where units are coming as well. I love that Mind already has mines on both of the gas expansions that RideSky may want to take. Very well done. And in fact, he might even lay one here on the mineral base. I love it. I love it. I love it. The amount of scans you're going to have to use is pretty crazy. Now, here comes RideSky up the side. This engagement actually can go RideSky favored for a little bit because of the Vultures being in the front, right? See how he's trying to make it so the tanks aren't hitting the Vultures? It doesn't work that well, and Mine does push him back. And now Mine's sieging up and getting ready to take a base. It looks like this Mine should just barely block the command center. So he is going to need a scan there. Oh, no, it doesn't. It barely doesn't. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker. You hate to see that when you've laid a mine there and they don't have to scan it. Okay, now RideSky clearing the center. Getting rid of a lot of these mines. Ooh, walks through a mine here. A mine here. Mine does. Not the greatest ID for a TVT. So he's going to start sieging in the center. The center area here is really important. It allows you to move super quickly through the map. And also, of course, anytime you have a high ground advantage, that is gigantic. +1, by the way, already on the way for Mind. He is getting the starport as well. It does feel like, in my opinion, Mind is ahead, which is kind of funny because if you look at the supply, RideSky is actually up 4 workers. He's up 10 supply. But that supply is in, well, it's the workers, that's really good and legitimate, but the third base is coming up for Mind, so economy-wise, it's not like RideSky's really ahead. But a lot of the supply is in the Vultures. And like I said, as the siege tank count grows, the Vultures become less and less valuable. See, they're like coming up here. Look at how badly they're getting wrecked. The siege tank Goliath are just dealing huge amounts of damage to them. They don't really deal damage to that. It's all about laying mines and the speed of running around the map and everything. So RideSky, like his position... Oh, he is getting one here now. His position is not transitioning as well as Mine's is. And that is because of the scaling. You can see Mine really taking control of the center of the map. Now, that was a little bit of a mistake for sure. Trying to siege up here. He's got to target the tanks. Okay, a decent target, but he loses 2 tanks and 2 Goliaths basically for free there. Loses that 3rd tank as well. Ooh, a good mine from RideSky as well. And now we're suddenly at about even supply. Let's take a look at the center. So Mind has 7 tanks. We have 5 tanks on this side. We have 2 add-on. And yeah, I knew we had 3 add-on. There was just so many tanks coming out. I think that 3 add-on is a great call from Mind. And, okay, busts a couple tanks. Anytime they're trading tanks right now, that goes towards Mind's favor because he does have that 3rd add-on. He does have that +1 as well. He's getting the science facility. So Mind getting ready for +2, which is the most important upgrade in this matchup. Just +2 vehicle attacks. Basically nothing else matters. And RideSky's actually doing an okay job of maintaining presence in the middle of the map. Ooh, rough hit there on the mines and tanks. A little bit sloppy from RideSky. Ooh, I like the wall in, preventing Vulture raids. That's really cool, actually. For this map, that's very, very cool. I like that very, very much. You don't have to put any units here. Obviously, once a dropship comes out, you're going to be in trouble. But for now, it's really great. Okay, more units just kind of walking up, trying to get positions on the high ground. You see that Mine controls more of it. This is a funny thing. Terran versus Terran, a lot in Korea, they talk about how it's like Go. Go is very, very popular, called Baduk in Korean. But it's a super popular game there. And so it's on TV and stuff, right? So people know quite a bit about it. I guess it's probably similar to how, like, you hear people talk about, like, oh, it's a chess game, you know, when they're talking about, like, business or something in America. Well, Go, a lot of people talk about how Terran vs. Terran is like Go. And let me tell you, there's a big difference between your tanks being here and your tanks being here, right? This is the exact center of the map. And this makes a big difference. You have area to move around behind. You're owning more of the center. And if you break this, like, you only have to break like an inch. And then suddenly you own the whole center. It's huge. So, like, even though there's no minerals here or anything, this type of positional control is so strong in Terran vs. Terran. It's so strong. So definitely I'm looking at this and saying I think Mind still has the advantage. I mean, it was close earlier on. I love the position of Mind. I love the amount of siege tanks. His +2 attack is quicker here. See, the +1 is not quite done for RideSky. It will be soon. But we already have +2, +1 on the way. He's getting his Goliath range and stuff just in case of Wraith switches. In the meantime, RideSky, he does have his 3 add-ons going. He's making a single Wraith. I'm not sure what the Wraith is going to do. Maybe just some spotting for the center. Maybe anti-drop. But yeah, you see Mind is just taking more and more of the center. Like, he broke the top piece. So now he's got, like, this arc around RideSky. RideSky has this small outpost. Dude, Mind is pushing in towards this third base location. RideSky trying to bring a lot of units up. Great positioning here from Mind. Like, he's just making this very hard. The more you constrict around your opponent, the stronger your position is. Now, this single Wraith coming up, actually, first off, can kill 2 siege tanks very quickly that are very low on health. Like, 4 hits there and then 2 here. Maybe it can come up, push the barracks back, which is always nice. Actually attacking the wrong one right there for the moment. Dude, I love watching TVT zoomed out. It's fantastic. Sorry if that's annoying to you. Oh, 2 Wraiths countering the 1 Wraith. The big brain on this man. Now, a lot of siege tanks and vultures coming up, so he will clear out what Mind did here. Mind actually brought a lot of SCVs. I think his idea was for repairing and building turrets, and that doesn't work because the position gets broken right before he can do that. So that's really powerful, right? Like, it's good that RideSky broke this area. And now the supply is going towards Mind, but supply is, out of all matchups, this is not a great indicator of, like, who's winning, I guess. Honestly, I guess that's true in a lot of matchups, right? Like, PVT, you always have Protoss at higher supply until max, and then ZV whatever, you always have Zerg at lower supply until they're way winning. TVT, like, yeah, maybe you're winning because you're 156 against 126, but that it's not like you're about to close the game or anything. There's, like, a lot of play left in the game at that point. So Mind now deciding to flow down the map. Instead of attacking up here like he was before, a lot of the units of RideSky are up there. Now he's attacking into this mineral base. The mineral base, not as valuable, but just pushing in. He's forcing RideSky to defend. He's blowing up so many siege tanks. That's huge. Now that is a supply difference. Okay, well, that's it. GG. Mind takes down game 1.